Hi, I'm Jocelyn Cooper.
Hello and welcome to the Box Angeles podcast with me. I'm your host, Mike Elder. Thank you so much for listening to the show. I really appreciate you, the listener. Let's do some housekeeping really quick. I'm in the process of backing up the 300 plus audio archives on Apple Podcasts. A lot of you listen on Apple Podcasts. Most of you do. They're currently available on Patreon, but by the end of this week, they will be all available on Apple Podcasts. So you can become a subscriber there, support the show, get access to tons of really great episodes from back in the day. Darcy Carden, Scott Aukerman, Lauren Lapkus. There's a lot of good episodes back there that you can now listen to on Apple Podcasts. So please do that. Also, if you're over there, please rate and review the show. I do not ask enough for ratings and reviews on Apple Podcasts. So this is me doing that. They help the show a lot, and I should be better at asking for them, but I don't like asking for stuff. So here I am asking anyways. I just had a really great conversation with director Jocelyn Cooper. This episode is really fun. We talked about her start in music videos. Right out of college, she started working for a music video production house, which was really cool. That was her in. We talk about the importance of setting the tone as a director on set, how important that is, how much empathy she has for actors. This was a cool conversation. I like talking to directors. I like hearing what they think and how they view us actors. I think you're going to get a lot out of this episode, just like I did. So, without further ado, ladies and gentlemen, I give you Jocelyn Cooper. Hi, Joss.
Hi.
Thanks for coming down.
Thanks. Yeah, thanks for having me.
I'm really excited to talk to you.
Yeah.
I don't know if I told you this in the email, but basically, I'm trying to get more in the actor algorithm.
Okay.
And your fun TikTok videos showed up in my algorithm. And you are a director who is like talking about directing and how to get into it and stuff. And I feel like, keep me honest, I feel like a lot of directors don't do that. I feel like there's a lot of actors like me kind of showing their side of it. Definitely some writers too recently, but not a lot of directors. Would you agree with that?
Yeah, I think there is some like gatekeeping a little bit in our industry. I don't know if it's because it's been like a hard few years with the strikes and it feels like there's not a ton of work going around. So people, I don't know, so I don't know if it's people just like are focused on just trying to get as much work as possible. And also if there's like a competitiveness to it, or they don't have like time to make TikToks or what. But yeah, I just started like answering questions that I feel like come up on when I take generals with people or if I'm like meeting people, and questions that I would have loved to have answered, like when I was trying to figure out this nuanced industry, because I feel like each pocket of the industry has its own rules, like whether it's music videos, commercials, films, television, and like me and my friends always get together and we're like, okay, I think I figured out this, like I think I figured out that. So I just kind of like started making videos explaining, and I'm starting to do more like bringing people on set and kind of like want to like dive into the whole process a bit more. But yeah.
Yeah, I love that. I do think like there's many layers and gatekeepers, as you said, but like the more social media grows, the more we're like not exposing it, but tearing those down. Like I feel like casting was always kind of a scary thing to actors, and now that casting directors have their own podcast, and I think directors are sort of the next layer maybe for that.
Yeah, I mean, I would love that. I've seen like some actors explain, I have like this green screen set up and I'm on these casting websites and I'm doing this and I'm doing that. And so I think also just like it's such a necessary evil and not evil now. Like I think everyone needs to be on social media. And I've been telling like my DP at the beginning of the year, I was like, you shoot the coolest things. Like, this is so interesting. Like you have to show the behind the scenes. And she's like popping off. And I'm like, I feel like it's just such like a necessary part of where the world is going. And as a creator, like you do have a brand, like people watch my work and they like try to piece together who I am and what I am and how I would be good for that role. And then like, I feel like social media is like another way to kind of establish your brand and your style and your tone.
Yeah, style for sure. You can curate it yourself. You can. Yeah, it's absolutely true.
Yeah.
By the way, I was going to say before we get too far, this is really random, so
Okay.
I apologize in advance. But I was at trivia last night,
Okay.
and I'm going to put you on the spot here.
Oh, God.
The question was, what are these names and their profession? And Cooper was one of them. Do you know what a Cooper does?
A barrel maker.
Wow, that's incredible. I can't believe you knew that.
Well, it's my name.
That's phenomenal. I can't believe you knew that.
Yeah, I know that. And like blacksmith, goldsmith, smiths. Did you get that right in trivia?
I can't believe you knew that. No, we got that wrong. We also got Wainwright wrong.
I don't know what that is.
Wainwright is a wagoner.
Okay.
I'm glad you knew that. That's really cool. Now I should know what my last name is. I don't know what an elder does.
It definitely does something. It like welder, elder.
That's funny. We're just doing rhyming now.
Yeah. It definitely does.
A Cooper is a hooper.
Yeah, exactly.
I don't know that. That's great.
Yeah.
By the way, how's your appendix? You just said your
Oh
appendix.
my gosh, I'm better. Yes, that was crazy. I had like stomach pain and like I was like, oh, maybe I just like ate something funny and it wasn't going away. And my husband was like, we have to go just see. And then they were like, yeah, you have to get your appendix out right now.
That's wild.
I know. It was crazy, but I'm fine. You know, I'm back like I never left.
It didn't burst, did it?
No, it didn't
Okay.
burst. It was just inflamed.
Yeah, I think I told you my brother and mom had theirs out, so I feel like I'm next.
Probably. Well, they
Right.
don't know what causes it.
I know, they don't even know what that thing's for.
Well, I'm the only one in my family that's had it removed. So
I have a theory that it's some sort of like alien relic where the aliens are going to come, and if you still have your appendix, they know to attack you or something like that.
Okay,
you know
well,
what I mean? I have some
I'll
weird
be-
like ancient aliens theory about it.
no, I have like none of my organs left because I've had my tonsils removed, my adenoids removed, my gallbladder removed, and now my appendix removed.
Jeez,
Like, what's next?
I didn't even know you could get most of that.
I know.
removed.
I have no organs. Like, it's crazy.
Okay, that's wild.
I know.
I just pictured you in Mexico and.
Yeah. And they open me up and they're like, she's got nothing.
Sorry, I went there, but I love that you yes-handed me. And they're like, crap, we grabbed the wrong one.
What the heck?
Okay, enough about the side stuff. Wait, you did a video recently that came up in my FYP, and it was about how you got started, and it's kind of a unique way. Can you
Yes.
reiterate that to
Yes.
this audience?
So I'm from the Midwest. I'm from St. Louis, Missouri. My dad's a lawyer. My mom's in the medical field. Like, I have creative grandparents. I do have creative grandparents, but it like skipped a generation. And so I got a MacBook. I got an Apple computer when I was in like 8th grade and loved editing and making videos. So I was like, oh, maybe I'll be a journalist or like work in editing for journalism because film is just not what comes to mind when you're in the Midwest. Like it's
Yeah, I'm from the
not.
Midwest.
Yeah, I just feel like I never really had been to California. Like maybe I went when I was like in 7th grade. Like it just wasn't on my mind. And then I was touring University of Texas journalism program, and they have an amazing film school, and their tour happened to be with the film school program. And I was like, oh my gosh, like I want to do that. Like telling a journalism story just wasn't interesting to me. I wasn't passionate about doing that. I, got overwhelmed with like the scandal or politics, and I didn't want to tell like the sappy stories. Like it just wasn't for me. And so I was like, okay, I'm gonna apply to film school. And I did my research and applied to Loyola Marymount University and got in, and they had an amazing film program. And that's where I've met all the people like I'm still working with. I think they have like 100 kids per class, and you have classes on their sound stages. You pick up a camera your freshman year, you're constantly on set making things. And so my junior year, you could kind of do like a class credit for if you got an internship. And so I applied to various companies and got hired at a music video production company. I was like, I'll just do anything in the industry. That's kind of what they advised. They were like, just get into the industry. Just get in somewhere.
Yeah. Wait, sorry. So your degree was in film?
My degree is in film. So my degree is in film and television production.
Got it.
And I was still figuring out if I wanted to edit, if I wanted to produce. And I just knew I loved telling stories. I knew I loved writing. I was still trying to figure it all out. And then I got an internship at a music video production company, and they did like the first job I PA'd on as an intern was Kendrick Lamar's All Right, which
sure.
was nominated for a Grammy. It's huge project. And then I was on an Ariana Grande Focus on Me, and from like her, I forget the album, but from like her big album that had, you know, all the hits. And it was really awesome to see. And I kind of fell in love with music videos. I was like, this is a really fun way to tell a story, and there's no rules. Like, you can, in a music video, there's no like continuity. Like, you can just have fun. Like, someone could be flying one second and in a business meeting the next, and like doing it. It's like such a creative medium. And so I was an intern there, and then they had an office manager position open, and I applied and got the position right out of school. And so I was, you know, getting coffees, taking lunch orders, you know, doing like answering like info at emails, you know, just like a glorified assistant, and then also like making sure we had enough pens and papers and the printer worked and stuff like that.
That's how long ago this was.
Yeah. It was kind of like, yeah, looking back, like it's almost like 10 years now.
So the internship was unpaid.
Unpaid for school credit.
And then they brought you in right after you graduated. That's
yes. And that was a really great opportunity.
Part of my naivety, you said it's a music video production house? Mm-hmm. I didn't know that was a thing.
Yeah.
So they only did music videos?
Yeah, and some commercials.
Okay.
Yeah, but like so production companies are structured with like a roster of directors, and so their roster of directors specializes in music videos.
Okay.
So there's like Hannah Lux Davis, Tim Mattia. Hannah does all the Ariana Grande, like Halsey, like big pop stuff.
Wow.
They had Benny Boom, who did big rap videos. They had Colin Tilley, who was doing other big rap videos. So yeah, if you are a music video director, like directors can't just make productions on their own. They need a producer, they need coordinators, they need all the things. So they pair up with production companies who are their like support staff, basically. And you get like rostered at a production company is what it's called.
How does an artist pick a director?
So how it works is artist label decide that they want to make a music video, and their team reaches out to these production companies. So they're like, oh, like Pretty Bird did these past music videos. They have these directors on their roster. We'll send them the song, send them like a brief and a budget, and then they'll gather pitches from directors at all these different production companies. And so it's literally just a document with words and images describing the plot, the vibe, the edit, the casting, you pitch everything out. It's called a treatment. And you, then they review the treatment. Sometimes there's a call, sometimes there's not. And then they pick the idea that they want the best.
Are the artists actually doing that though, or is it their team?
It depends on how big they are. Yeah. So, and like so independent artists are definitely.
For sure, yeah.
And if they're really big, I think they definitely are too. But if their A&R team at the label is like curating them, then they'll have a commissioner works at the label and is in charge of these videos, and they are in between the production company director and the artist. So how I got into directing was at that company that I was office managing at. They realized I could write because I had to like write something, and they were like, oh, they moved me to the writing team for writing these pitches and treatments.
Wait, just because you wrote something?
So
you wrote like an email?
So like some scripts came by my desk because some of the directors wanted to get into features and television, and so I started providing coverage. And I think my coverage writing was like really fluffy and like.
That's awesome.
I remember though the day they were like, "You're going to write your first treatment," and I was like shitting myself. I was so nervous. It was for a Rihanna DJ Khaled song, and I was losing it. And I remember my coworkers were like, I don't know, just do it. Like they said, for you to do it, you just have to do it. I was like so scared and nervous.
Why do you think you were nervous? I mean, you were around it for so long. You felt confident.
I just had never, I had never done it before. And I yeah, I read a bunch of pitch documents of their treatments. I read a bunch of the treatments and tried to just like emulate them and take the ideas that, because I talked with the directors and we would come up with the ideas together. And now I don't think that job exists anymore. Like, I'm sure ChatGPT is helping directors that can't really write. Like, some of these directors just weren't writer directors. So then they would have someone like me write it with them, or like we would talk about the idea and then I would write it. Luckily, I'm a writer director, so I write all my own pitches, but I think ChatGPT is helping these directors now. Anyways, I was just really nervous because I didn't know, but they got the job, and that was like, whew, okay,
wow,
like I
good for
can do
you.
this.
1 for 1.
Yeah.
Was that a big raise to go to the writing department? Like, I don't even know what we're even talking about. You don't have to tell me, but like,
No.
Okay.
It was not, because I don't think production, I mean, it's a saturated industry, so I don't really know how these like production companies like survive, to be honest.
Yeah.
And music videos budgets don't align with commercial budgets. You know, I think.
You mean they're significantly smaller?
Yes. Yeah. And I think any director, producer will tell you that. I think if you're working for, someone, the big artists that can afford it and they want a big concept, then that's great. But how many music videos is an Ariana Grande, Taylor Swift, making a year? But maybe like 1 or 2. So then you have to fill your time in with these like a lot smaller budget videos.
Do you remember making the video?
Yeah.
On MTV, and Jay-Z, like one of them, he's like, we're going to spend $1 million. We're working our way up to $1 million. And that was like a big deal to spend $1 million. And that seems like nothing now.
Music videos are not $1 million
Really?
now.
Ever?
Taylor Swift, probably, yes.
Okay.
But that's like, no, it's I think because they're 3 minutes, 4 minutes. So it's a lot smaller. The technology is a lot better. Like, you can do so much in post. Like, it's not needed.
Yeah, it's also very simple. Like, the best videos are very simple.
Yeah, it's just not, I don't know why. I'm not a producer, so I don't know why, but they're not $1 million.
That's funny. I made a short film recently. Finally, I shot my short film. I'm chomping at the bit to edit it, but I just shot it a few weekends ago, and everyone's like, you can spend like $5-10 grand. I'm like, I don't think I'm going to bootstrap this. And I spent like $1,000, and most of that was for food for my friends that were helping me out.
Yeah, exactly.
You don't have to spend that much money to make this stuff.
Totally. And, obviously you don't want to like not pay your crews and not pay people livable wages if you're going to be doing this frequently. But even with paying people livable wages, like you can like shoot a house for like $1,000 or like whatever. You don't need to be on a sound stage. You don't need to be, there's like ways to like keep it small. And I think that labels have picked up on that. And it's also different. Like if you're shooting a commercial, the world needs to be extremely controlled. There's so much legal involved in that, of like when you're advertising something that's going to be broadcasted to the world. So you really like that. I think the budgets like make more sense, like why commercials have higher budgets, because there's just like so many implications where these music videos are getting thrown up on YouTube for the most part, and it can like be whatever. So
I will say this though, I have a rom-com night, or I used to have it more regularly, but once a month we usually do a rom-com night. And one of my favorite things, even not on the rom-com nights, but it happens on rom-com night. After we watch a rom-com, we'll just sit on my couch and watch music videos for 2 hours.
Yeah, because they're so fun. I love doing that too. I fell in love with it. I liked watching TRL as a young kid, and then I would definitely like search music videos. But working at that company, I was so exposed to all these amazing music videos and art pieces that it really opened my eyes, and I was like, wow, this is such a great way to tell stories, to have fun as a creator, and like get good at filmmaking. It's a really, I always tell people like it's a great way to start. If you have a friend that's a musician, like grab your phone, like edit in whatever, just make something and practice and get better at it. And I think it's like such a great way to explore storytelling.
Yeah. When you left film school, was directing what you were thinking, or was it?
Yeah, so I thought I wanted to produce, like, I do have like an analytical, like organized mind in
Which is
that
not
way.
great for creativity.
Yeah.
I'm the same, and I feel like
Yeah, but it also can be like a strong suit because I feel like you can make smart decisions creatively.
Maybe.
Yeah.
I just want to like I that's my self-tape wall, and I'm like, okay, there's got to be a formula to book this thing, and that's how my brain works, but it's not.
No,
It's such a
you have to
crapshoot.
just like, yeah, you
You have to
that
go with the flow, and that's not analytical at all.
totally. I have like the two parts of me, and I realized that the like creative director, like being a leader of the creative space on a project is like where I wanted to land. And so I made a thesis film my senior year. It was like a 12-minute short. And I realized I really wanted to direct. I don't remember what, but I know LMU has a speaker series, and I know Jake Gyllenhaal came and talked about his relationship with Ang Lee, and I was like, yeah, I'm going to direct, and I'm going to make a thesis.
Very cool.
Can't tell you what was said and why, but I just know that was like a shifting moment for me. And yeah, then loved making my thesis.
Did your thesis go anywhere? Did you do anything with it?
Yeah, it played at Austin Film Festival and some other film festivals, and I used it as a proof of concept for a series that I pitched to. Do you remember the Spirit Awards and Independent? So there was.
They don't exist anymore?
No, I don't. Or maybe they do, but it was run by Film Independent, and Film Independent had a director's like program. I forget what it's called, but I applied to that and was like fleshing out a script with them, a series with them, and a pilot script with them back in like 2017 or 2018.
As a result of your thesis? Mm-hmm. Oh, very cool.
Yeah. And so it definitely, and I still share it with managers and people, and it was beautifully shot. You know, I would do a lot of things differently now, but I'm still proud of it. And it's based on my mom, you know, and so it's personal, and yeah.
That's awesome. Is it online?
Yeah, it's on my website.
Okay. I'll watch it after this. I didn't know.
Don't judge me.
Why would I judge you?
It's totally like a 22-year-old, like a 21-year-old. You know what I mean? It's just very like, there's like amateur things. Like there's this really long shot that goes in and out of focus on accident. Like, you know, there's like.
That was a choice. No, that was a choice.
Not a freaking choice. The AC screwed me. But.
Well, I was going to ask about like, did you want to direct because like, you went the music video production house, obviously, but like your peers at LMU, what did they end up doing that we're trying to direct? And I'm just curious because it feels like an unconventional path, but every path out here is unconventional. So
every path is unconventional.
If, like, it worked out better going that route, or if not. I think
so. To be honest, from my graduating class, I think there's like 2 or 3 of us that are working directors.
Oh, wow.
So.
I mean, that's pretty good you said it was like 100 people, right?
Yeah.
That's not bad.
Yeah. And so I have a lot of friends that are writers though, that are successful. I'm not saying that being a director is harder. Maybe I just don't know as many from my graduating class, but I do have a lot of director friends now. But I think I had to just make the jump, to be honest. I was making music videos on the weekends when I had a full-time job, and that was super helpful. But my connections with my classmates and then the people I met at the production company and then making the jump of quitting and just going for it was kind of, I think that was the recipe to success.
Yeah.
You know, I think like you have to, if you are coming from middle of America or wherever you are and you don't know anybody and you want to be a director, you got to go to school or get a job or do something to just meet people that know how to operate a camera, that know how to operate a boom pole, that know how to operate. Like, you have to meet people. It's not a one-person job. And so for me, that was film school and this entry-level job. And then you have to make stuff. And so when I had a full-time job at the production company, it came to a point where I wasn't able to make stuff because I was busy.
Right.
And so I finally just had to like go for it and try to fly.
Yeah.
And so, yeah.
It's a tricky dance, right? Like I just quit a day job I had for 10 years because I was burnt out, but also like I was like, I got some creative things I want. The short film, namely, but I was like, I want to take a little sabbatical, a creative sabbatical, and just focus all my attention to it and see what I can do when you're not supplementing your day job and you're like already burnt out, and then you have to go create stuff.
And like
it's like very tricky.
You work and then you go home and you want to scroll. Like the last thing you want to do is sit down and write. And
or
so
edit,
or like network or whatever. And so I learned invaluable things having an entry level, and then it went from entry level to not. I was writing, and then I started a development department for them. I had like a slate of 6 scripts, and I learned a lot about pitching and development and how to we had pitches with like YouTube Red, and at the time I think Tubi, and then there was that weird thing that started and ended really fast.
Yeah, the short video clip thing.
What was that called?
I don't remember.
We were pitching to them all the time. And so I learned a lot. And then I was directing on the weekends for my friends that had bands.
That's awesome.
And then I met a director a roster director who I was writing with a lot. And he's a writer. And so he didn't really need me. But it would be times when he was like on set, too busy, got someone, Green Day was like, we want to make a music video. And he's like, Cooper, I'm on set. This is my idea. Like, write this out, flesh this out. Then he would fix it. And then we would go back and forth. Anyways, we developed a really amazing relationship. And when I quit my job or left my job, he sent me projects that he wasn't available for. He was like, hey, like, they want me to pitch on this. I'm already on this. Like, why don't you pitch on it? And so that really opened up doors for me.
Oh, amazing.
Yeah, he was like really, really supportive of my career, and that I'm so, so thankful to him. And
how do you then though branch out into commercials? So I get the music video, you're around that all makes sense.
Yeah.
But then how do you start? So I guess in general, how do you procure work?
Yeah.
You gotta say
every job. Slow. No, I paid for my first music video.
Oh, really?
I invested $2,000. I asked my friend who was in a band. I was like, "Can I use your song and make a music video?" They were like, "Sure." So I paid for my first music video.
Oh, wow.
So I had that in my senior thesis, and then the band liked the music video I did so much they gave me $500 to make another one, which is
damn girl, give me some
money though. No, that's no money. That's crazy.
You're talking to an actor.
No. Okay, I didn't get to keep the $500. I had to spend the $500.
Oh, I see. Got it.
It was a $500 budget. So I probably put money into it. So
got it. That's funny.
So like which it's called Mental Karate by Thumpasaurus. It has like a ton of views. BuzzFeed picked it up. It was like,
oh, wow.
I spent the money on getting karate outfits for the guys. I think we rented a camera from a friend. It was just like I think it was just a DSLR. And then we asked a guy to come like bounce like light on the, in the day. That was it. I edited it with the musician, and then we paid a graphics guy. So whatever. Everything I've done and how I've gotten into music videos and commercials, I paid for my first jobs.
Wow.
So I paid for a spec commercial, and then I also edited music videos that had product placement into commercials. Yeah. So I did a Zac Brown Band music video that Benjamin Moore paints had product placement in, and so I took all of that footage and edited it into a spec commercial.
Smart.
Yeah, and like there's other music videos that I had that had like, a Nikki Lane music video I had some Slow and Low, which is a whiskey stuff. And you get so much content, you shoot for 12 hours for a 3-minute thing. Like there's so much content.
Yeah.
And you can put a 15-second spot together, record yourself doing a voiceover, show some like beautiful images, be like with Slow and Low, the life's always moving, whatever, like,
but
there
then,
you go,
okay.
a 15-second spec.
Okay, but then what do you do with that? Do you approach Slow and Low, or do you take it to like producer, like, or do
production companies?
Okay,
production companies that are getting bids from brands and agencies.
Yeah,
and they need to put up directors.
Right.
So they're like, oh, this alcohol company, this tequila company, let's send the Slow and Low thing. Like, oh, let's send like, oh, sweet dad and daughter painting together. There's a family commercial. Let's send that. you know, and they sent my other stuff. So they have to send work to these brands to prove what you can do. So yeah, so you make specs, then you reach out to production companies, commercial production companies.
So that's on you though. You're like doing that all by yourself. You're just constantly reaching out to production companies basically.
Yeah, but they also reach out to you once they see you and see your work on social media. So honestly, I haven't reached out to a ton of commercial production companies. A lot of them have reached out to me, but I have. Like, I followed a producer on Instagram. She posted on her story, like, do I know any female directors? And I was like, yes, you do. Hi. I mean, we don't know each other, but we can.
Right.
You know? Or like it's crazy. But like another producer guy posted, he was like, hey, like I need someone that's worked with kids that is bilingual. I'm not bilingual, but I'm Mexican. Like what is it? Let's figure it out.
Yeah.
And like we didn't work out, but we got to know each other, and he has my reel and he has my work. And so, yeah, I mean, but also they see you and then they'll reach out to you because if Microsoft or whoever is like, hey, I need a commercial, and they don't have any director to throw at them, they look stupid. So they also need directors and work to send them, because they can't send work unless they know directors and have work to send.
So at what stage then do you become, I don't know the term, quote unquote, rostered on a production company? Because a lot of production companies I see, like when I have a callback, I look them up and stuff, and I'm like, oh, they have 7 directors listed on their website.
Yeah.
At what point do you do that? Is that like a contract then you would do?
Some make you sign like not like contracts, but also you can be non-exclusive with production companies, but on their website so that they can advertise you. So I've had that situation.
Got it.
At places. I've had exclusive relationships with production companies. And then where I'm at right now is I have great relationships with a lot of production companies, and they ask me, hey, this came across my desk. Can I send this for you? Or is anyone else sending this for you? And I'll say yes or no. And I will say yes, but I haven't had the point where 2 companies have come with the same job, because sometimes an agency is going to company A and company B. And if I know company A and B, if they both can't put me up, so I'd have to pick, like, that's never happened, but they always say, like, please let me know if someone else is putting you up. It's up to you. And the times I have been rostered and on people's websites have been when I really needed work and when I've been earlier in my career. I think at this point, I've learned that if you're going to be rostered, you should have a really good relationship with these people, and you should only want to work with them, basically, and know that they are putting you up for all the jobs that come your way. Yeah. You know, it's because if they get one commercial and they have 10 directors, like, how are they, if they know you're the right fit, but like Billy Moore, are they going to send Billy? You know, like, you need to have a good relationship with them, and that they know your voice, and they know if you're right for this project.
So, okay, I should know this stuff, and I think I do, but I'm just going to go for it anyway. So if a production company puts you up for a Bud Light job, and they select you, do you bring your own DP and all that stuff, or is it the production company's DP and stuff?
You work with the production company. The director is the creative leader, so they will let you bring your people that you want to work with. But if you don't have someone, they'll say, like, if it's I've shot in markets I've never worked in. So, like, I just shot in Kansas City.
I've never worked.
Yeah, I've never worked there before. So,
well, why would you have?
Yeah, the production company. They brought their people, and I was like, yeah, you know, sometimes they let me fly out someone if the job needs it, but like, you know, I shot a New Kids on the Block commercial in Miami, and I got to bring my DP because it was a big job. It was a very specific tone. I made my case for why I needed her. We're best friends. The day's going to go. It was a hard day. Yeah. Like, the day's going to go better if we have a vibe. And then she worked with Miami crew.
Got it. So, but to me, that's weird, like, to go to KC just you, because, like, there's already weird power dynamics with the director, you know? There is. It is. But, like, was that weird for you to, like, meet all these people at the shoot almost?
Yeah, but that's part of your job is to get to know them, and they, like, and to like let them do their thing, but then also like communicate with them your vision, it's hard. I definitely like working with my crew if I can. But that's just like kind of a part of it is that like they just don't have the budget to like bring all of your people. And like I was on calls before, I met the production designer on calls before, I met the DP on so many calls. Like we get to know each other. We get dinner the night before the shoot. Like I didn't know the hair and makeup people before I got there because there wasn't a need for a call because it was really straightforward. But there's 3 hours of setting up. You get to know each other. You talk about everything. Like this is the look, and they're like, okay, yeah. Like you're the creative leader on set. And they ultimately listen to your guidance, but you also like know to give, they're in creative positions too. So you give them their freedom to do their thing and really shine. Like you're just there to be like a lighthouse basically. And
speak on that.
Yeah.
What do you mean by lighthouse?
Okay. So
I like this metaphor could be very good.
I say it a lot. As the director, you are the most informed on the story and creative vision. So you are there to guide all of these departments home, basically. So you are there. There's wardrobe, there's production design, there's lighting, there's camera, there's all these departments that need to like work together to make your vision happen. And you have to like be this like guiding force of like, let's work together. Let's make it all happen. And because a lot of these crew members, they're coming from a shoot yesterday onto this one. They haven't had the time. They haven't been a part of the writing process. They don't know what. I just did a Lego shoot. They don't know what Lego's trying to accomplish. They don't know what the target audience is. They don't know that this is supposed to be bright and airy and fun and encouraging. They don't have, because they were just shooting freaking Netflix the day before. So, like they don't have the time. So you have to be there guiding them and explaining that and just like making sure everyone is aligned.
Yeah. I like that. That's good.
Yeah.
How important is like, to that degree, like how important is like tone on the set? And do you go out of your way or what do you do to make sure that like, I'm just talking about like the, cross-functional tone of the set isn't like, like a regimented.
Oh, it's so important in my opinion. I've shadowed or co-directed or been on sets where there's just a totally different vibe and tone, and it's not how I think creativity thrives and productivity thrives. Sets is 12 hours, and or 10 hours, and if you are late or if you are over, that is costing so much money. You start going into time and a half. So you need to be productive, you need to be creative. And for me, that is having like a very calm, direct, like positive demeanor with everybody and making sure everyone kind of like stays in that. I don't like yelling on sets. Also, the minute someone yells around an actor, you've lost them, in my opinion. Like, they are doing something that's so vulnerable, that has so much pressure on them. They are like bearing their souls, even if it's comedy, even if it's something silly. It is so hard to do, and you need to create like the safest environment for them to kill it, in my opinion. And so I like to just have like a really calm, I don't like yellers. I don't like, if we're running late, we need to rush quietly. There can be like music playing and and like we can be focused and we can be like, okay, we need to move to the next one. And like, we got to get this done. Like that is fine, but the booming voices, the yelling at your DP, like, oh, you messed up. Like that is crazy to me. And I will never be down for that.
Yeah, that's not good. Wait, speaking of actors, like, do you have any pet peeves around what they do on set or anything that does frustrate you, as even though they are in a very vulnerable situation?
Not being focused, like joking around with.
Hey, what's wrong with joking
everyone
around?
I mean, I love fun, but like if we're like, you're on your mark, we're like about to get into something, and I'm trying to speak, and you're like, la, 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 and I'm like trying to talk to you, or like someone's trying to mic you up, and you're like dropping a bit. Like, I love comedians. I work with a lot of comedians. Like I do a lot of comedy, but I'm like, not now.
Yeah,
You know, like that's the only thing that is a pet peeve, is just like being too much of a ham. Like, you're the center of attention. Don't worry.
Right.
We're all watching you. You got this job. Like, you don't need, you know what I mean? I'm kind of like, it comes from a place of insecurity, is what I've learned. And so I try to just like make them feel safe. But yeah, that's just adding more chaos when there doesn't need to be chaos, because there's so many moving pieces. There's lights moving. There's a boom. There's, you know what I mean? Just be chill.
Yeah. I something, and this is me on my high horse probably, but something that really bugs me is like being on a set and seeing actors just staring at their phones, trying to, when can I leave? I'm like, you are an actor. This is what you want to do. Why are you in such a hurry to leave and also not be present in this moment? I book maybe 2 or 3 things a year. I'm going to savor every moment of it because it's so fun and it's what I want to do. Why would I just be staring at, it just drives me bonkers when there's actors that are just like so uninterested. I'm like, why? Yeah,
that's definitely sad. I haven't dealt with that too much. I mean, I know what you're talking about. And I always wonder, I'm always like, are we not paying them enough? Are they not like excited about this? Like, how can if I see that, I try to like draw them in more, you know, and bring them in more to the process of like, how can we get you to engage more and realize the importance of this project?
I think a lot of actors sadly like to point at the thing they did rather than do the thing. They don't like the process. They like the reward.
Yeah, that's
like,
hard.
Look, I did this, rather than enjoying the fact.
Yeah, I mean, actors are like very nuanced, you know? Like, if you want to be like I just can never do it, because, oh my gosh, I've just been on so many commercials where a client's in my ear, like, they need to be bigger. And so I'm like, okay, let's do it again, but bigger. And then they're like, bigger. And I'm like, okay, bigger. And they're like, you know, and I feel so bad for these people. And I'm like trying to be like, you're doing amazing. You really are doing amazing. And so I just feel so bad for actors. I feel like you feel kind of like a pony sometimes, just like
dance.
Yeah. And like, it's hard.
It's funny though. So a lot of us actors like being the pony, so who cares?
Yeah.
Just don't worry about it.
So true. Yeah. But I do have a lot of empathy. I think I did theater and I acted as a kid, so I remember those feelings. And I think as a director, I really want to take an acting class just to like remind myself what it feels like and what is good direction and what I need in scenes where I feel lost, just because I think that's so important. I mean, there's a lot of like bad directors out there. I'm not gonna lie. And like, I don't want to be one. I don't want to make it harder on people.
You should take an acting class. That's really interesting thought.
I want to. I really want to. I just need to like find the right one, or you have a rec for me.
I just took, I was taking Robert Giovanzo. I stepped out because I'm traveling a bit, but Robert Giovanzo is a very sweet guy, and he does an on-camera class that is pretty good, because you do it and then you watch it and you see what the camera sees.
Oh my god, I don't want to die. I don't want to watch myself.
You do it on TikTok every day.
Yeah, that's true.
It's the same thing.
But I can like control and edit out anything.
Oh my god.
I'm behind the camera.
Speaking of, why do you only... I've noticed this lately, and I don't know if it's just me, but why do you not put your like question and answers on Instagram? Why do you only do it on TikTok?
I think TikTok's like a safer space.
Oh.
Like, I'm still figuring out TikTok, I think, too. Like, I'm just playing around with different things, and like everyone's moms follows me, and I don't know.
On TikTok?
On Instagram, and like family members and like judgy wedgies from high school.
Judgy wedgies, the worst. That's funny.
Yeah, I mean, maybe I'll put it on Instagram.
I always get annoyed because so many of my friends are not on TikTok, and I want to share a video I see on TikTok, so I go to Instagram and people don't put it on Instagram. I'm like, that annoys me. I put everything on TikTok, Instagram, and YouTube. Okay, the exact same videos.
Maybe I should. I use Instagram more. I mean, I did just post my wedding, but I don't post a lot of like personal stuff on the grid. I usually just post my work on the grid. Yeah. And so if you like go through my Instagram, it's like this commercial, this music video, this commercial, and you can kind of see it all.
Yeah.
And so I think I get like, I've always like people send people's, oops, I hit the mic. People send people's Instagrams when they're like, hey, do you have a good DP? Someone will send me their Instagram.
Sure. But you can hide reels. You can post reels and hide them from your grid.
You think I should do that?
Well, I don't know. You're doing fine. You don't need me, but I'm just saying.
Okay,
I have
maybe.
1,000 reels. They're not all on my grid.
Okay, that's a good idea. Maybe.
Speaking of actors, how involved are you in the casting process when you're shooting a commercial or even a music video? I guess maybe you need some people.
Yeah, very involved. If we're working with a casting director, I will like sift through everything, make selects, send the client or musician selects. And I'll usually will point out a favorite, and then they'll either go with that or go with like a backup select. So yeah,
Are you watching all the tapes?
I do, because I feel bad. I know a lot of people don't.
You have so much empathy for us. I appreciate it.
Well, because like I spend so much time putting together a pitch, and if I knew someone wasn't reading my pitch, I know that happens, and it makes me mad.
Yeah.
And so I know you like took time out of your day, and like, yeah, I just feel bad.
Yeah.
But there's times where I'm sent like 1,000, and I'm like, okay.
Oh, who sent you 1,000? Aren't they supposed to filter it down?
Bad casting agent.
Do you select your own casting director? Do you have a casting director?
Casting director.
You go to?
No, the producers usually have their relationships. That is something I would like to do, though, is build a relationship with the casting director, because it's so, to me, what it feels like, and I could be totally wrong, and if there's a casting director listening to this and wants to correct me, but it feels like we tell them what we're looking for, and they put out a big call and then just send us everything. Sometimes
I can give you some
it's
recs.
more filtered, and I appreciate that, but I don't, like, I would think they would need to have a call with me to understand how to narrow it down
the
for
good
us.
ones do, yeah.
Yeah, and I've never had a call with a
What?
casting director. I know.
I got some recommendations.
Usually the producers have the call with them and like relay my thoughts, I think. Yeah, I know.
Well, I appreciate you watching the full tapes, because lately that's come up a lot with my interviews with actors. Like, we don't even know if anyone's watching it. We film it here, we edit it there, we send it off. We're like, what are we even doing here?
Yeah, I mean, I definitely, first impression is the headshot is like...
Oh, you even look at headshots?
Well, usually that's the first thing you see on these platforms. You
don't see a screen grab of the tape?
You like see the headshot and then the screen grab if you like dive in. Or sometimes, yeah, it's usually headshot then screen grab.
Is it LA Casting?
Or, yeah.
Casting Networks?
Casting Networks, yeah. I think. I could be wrong. But
Either that or Actors Access.
if like someone doesn't have a real headshot, then I'm like, I might not watch it.
Oh. Okay. What's a real headshot?
Like if someone's taking a selfie.
Oh, no, yeah.
That's what I mean. Like a real just like any photo that's not a selfie or a mirror pic.
Yeah. So
You'll be surprised sometimes. Like I've also posted on like Backstage Casting before and gotten like crazy things. So
there's a lot of weirdos out there.
Yeah, totally.
Which sucks, because then there's so much chafe for you to get through to find the good ones. But you mentioned like you find your favorite, and I know this is a very difficult and not fair question, but like what makes somebody your favorite when you're casting them? Is it what you saw in your mind and they are that, or how do I stand out if you're watching my tape?
Yeah, I think, well, for commercials,
other than a professional headshot.
Commercials, there's a look people are usually going for, but sometimes it's open, and so it's not always the look that people are going for, because sometimes it is like you're like, let's see who does the best performance. A lot of the times it's the video, the audition that there's, the self-tape that they're submitting, and how they understand the assignment and at hand. That I'm sorry if that's not a good answer, but that is kind of and like just maybe how much. If they give a couple different reads, if it's like a quick 15-second thing, that's nice. Like variation. For commercials, they want a bunch of different reads on set. Like the agency will be like, let's make it sad just for fun, or they'll be like, let's make it happy. And so seeing range for commercials is really helpful.
Yeah.
I would think.
Yeah, but we see, this is where I struggle with an analytical mind. It's like, I would do that, but I get a list of directions, so I don't want to vary from the directions. So if it doesn't say give 4 takes, I'm not going to give 4 takes. You know what I mean?
Maybe give 2.
Yeah, I always try to give 2.
Yeah. Yeah.
Because if I don't follow the instructions, the casting's going to be pissed.
No, you need to follow the instructions.
I get blacklisted.
So that's like number 1 is like what is kind of what I said is just like how if you follow directions and like completed the task at hand and you were able to do that and deliver a good performance doing that. And then if you want to provide like a second option, that would be nice.
You mentioned you don't talk to casting though, but to me that's interesting because like yesterday I got a very specific one for an NFL commercial, and it was like do this, do this, do this. This is the scene. This is the scene. There's blah blah blah. And to me, I'm like the director's relaying that to the casting director, but maybe they're
we're like writing it out though. Usually,
right? It's like a PDF or whatever. But
so
I assumed it was you guys.
So we will. To
some degree.
Yeah. So my producers will be like, what do you want to relay to the casting director? And then I'll write it out and tell them, and so I don't have a phone call with the casting director. Is kind of what I would like in the future is to like, so they can actually weed out and like know and understand what I'm looking for. Cause it's usually just that same document that you're seeing probably put into there with their letterhead on it.
Okay.
Is what it feels like in this new age.
Yeah.
But I don't know.
What is this new age?
Yeah.
How many gigs do you work like a year? What's like a normal year for you? You work
Probably,
like 3 or 4?
No, like 10 to 12.
Oh, shit.
Yeah. That's a good year.
That's
for
great.
sure.
It seems great.
I want to be on set at least once a month. Yeah.
Damn.
Yeah. Especially if it's music videos and commercials. I'm transitioning into like the feature world, so I'm hoping to get a feature off by the end of the year. You know, I think when that becomes the case, it'll be like 3 times on set, you know,
right.
If I'm in a feature that's taking up a month of my life or more. Each job, a commercial is about like a month of prep and then a few days of shooting or a day of shooting. And a music video is like 2 weeks of prep and a day of shooting. So
is that that's just your general rule of thumb, basically?
That's just how it happens. Yeah. I mean, the more time, the better for prep.
Isn't there a moment of like overdoing it? Could you over prep for something like that?
No.
Really?
I mean, you can't book people that far out, you know, usually. It's hard to book people like 6 months out or something like that. You can put them on like a soft hold or like ask them to keep those dates, like crew members I'm talking about. But no, the more time you have like scouting locations and vetting talent and like the more time, the better, you know. I have some jobs that by the time it gets to me, you know, we have like 2 months and that's really nice. But I mean, that's not to say that the agencies aren't working on it more than like a month or 2 out. Like they are working on it for a long time, you know, concepting and all of that stuff. Yeah.
You mentioned ChatGPT earlier. Where are you at with AI? Are you afraid it's going to ruin our business or help our business, or what's your thought? Do you have a thought?
I think we have to like embrace it, to be honest. As like sad as that is, I do think they.
Hey, why is it? It's not necessarily sad.
Well, I think there's parts of it that are, you know, the fact that I used to write treatments for directors all the time and just like haven't. Is a little sad, you know. That's like taking work from people. I'm curious about it for like filling stands and arenas and like using AI instead of people is I'm curious about. I don't know a ton about how you use your likeness, you know, and how to get like paid for that. And how to get paid for your likeness being created and who owns that, the studio or the project, and then do they create it? You know, there's a lot to figure out, but I use it in terms of like, I like script titles. I will like put in my log line and be like, come up with like 40 script titles for me. And then I will like read a bunch of them, ponder and like make a combo sometimes of that. Or like, and a lot of my writer friends do that. I use it for research, you know, like I was doing a Lego piece that had some IP associated with it, with like a TV show that I had never seen. And so I'm like, summarize these characters for me, summarize this for me, like help me like get to know, instead of having to sit and watch that whole TV show, which I didn't have time for.
Right.
So in that way, I would say like embrace it. Like, don't be a total boomer, not know how to use it.
Yeah, I'm doing that too. It scares the shit out of me to a degree, but I'm doing that too. Like I'll use it for captions on my TikTok videos and draw the little graphics on there and stuff.
Oh, that's amazing. ChatGPT?
Yeah, like I'll have it draw you just like reacting to whatever you just said, basically.
Oh, cool.
I don't know what we just talked about. Like you setting the tone on set, being very quiet. I'll just say, draw this person as a director on set.
Oh, yeah, that's awesome.
Well, I don't know.
And I use the imaging for pitches because
That's
when you're putting together a commercial pitch, it can be really hard because you can't find the exact situation you're writing. And so I used it for a commercial I just did when I was storyboarding and also just putting together images to tell the story that I was pitching to them. And it was awesome.
Yeah.
Like being able to like write out, you know, like camera coming through the door, we have soft light from this window, like all that, like explaining everything to a T and then getting that image was great. Because before I would just peruse Pinterest and Shot Deck and various different, like try to get thumbnails from movies and screen grabs and stuff, and like you couldn't get the exact thing you were trying to tell. So that's awesome.
Yeah. I think embrace it is right because it's not going to go away. And if you fight it, you're just going to be behind.
Totally. So. And that's just the reality of it all. I think it's like the same thing with like directors not being on TikTok, you know, like I'm like
Speaking of, we need some gaffers on TikTok.
Yeah.
I want to take the same way you want to take an acting class. I want to take a lighting class. I wish I knew better lighting.
My gaffer's on TikTok.
What?
Yeah, I'll send you. I don't know. I'll tell him. He only does like My Minute in a Day for the most part, but I should tell him he should like talk about.
What's a My Minute in a Day?
He'll be, My Day in 1 minute.
Oh.
Sorry, I was like so dyslexic.
My Minute in a Day is pretty funny though.
Yeah, no, I have dyslexia, so.
No, but like I was like LACC's right over here. They gotta have like a lighting class. I wonder how much I could pay to do that.
I have some friends that just took a class at maybe it was AFI or it was.
That's over here too.
Yeah, in Hollywood. Is AFI? Okay,
I think it's down Franklin.
Yeah, they took like a week-long intensive lighting intensive and learned a lot.
All right, I'm going to look that up.
Yes, but I should tell my DP and my gaffer that they should post about lighting.
Technique videos, yeah.
Mm-hmm. I know, lighting's crazy. I just let them do their thing.
It's a nightmare.
I'm like, make it moodier. And they're like...
That's a great note. Moodier. The last question I ask is, who took a chance on you?
Brandon Dermer, that director that I met at my first job, who I quit and was like, hey, I can't direct this music video. I'm busy. Do you want to pitch on it? And I was like, yes. And that changed my career. And he did it a few times after that.
That's awesome.
He's really awesome. Brandon Dermer, he directed the feature film I'm Totally Fine. The feature film is called I'm Totally Fine with Natalie Morales and Jillian Bell.
I love
It's on Hulu. It's really great. He's an amazing writer, director. He took a chance on me, and he's an awesome mentor.
That's awesome. You still hanging out with him?
Yeah, we're neighbors. We're friends.
Oh, funny.
Yeah. We've it started back in 2017 or 2019, whatever, and yeah, we're friends now, and he's really... And I want to do that to people too, you know? Like, that's how anyone's going to... Someone has to take a chance on you.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
It's like very important that somebody sends the elevator down.
Totally.
And hopefully somebody did for them, and hopefully people keep doing it, because I think that's... Yeah. Especially now, everything's such a crapshoot.
I know. Well, thanks for having me.
This was lovely,
awesome.
Jocelyn. Thank
Yeah.
you. I can't wait for your TikTok to explode now after this.
Oh, I hope
You're
so.
going to get the Box Angeles bump.
Heck yeah.
I just made that up. You got a tail slate here at the end.
Okay, hey, I'm Joss Cooper. Thanks.
Lovely.